want to come to WA, it's too late. Please don't come. Exemptions will apply to essential services and workers, including health and emergency services, defence and policing, mining and oil and gas workforces, flight crews and freight of essential goods via ports, road and rail. There will also be exemptions granted on compassionate grounds and where people live near border communities. Vehicle numbers at the South Australian border checkpoint yesterday were almost 3 times higher than usual. 675 vehicles crossed at Eucla and around 150 at the Northern Territory border. There are long queues at the South Australian border today. This is unprecedented. It's never happened before. The queues are in place because vehicles need to be inspected to protect our agricultural industries from pests and diseases. Our farmers and environment need to be protected even now. However, as there are major delays, we ask people to be patient. I want to make sure people who are at the border right now know that if you reach the border by 1:30 p.m, that includes waiting in your car in the queue, we'll make sure you're able to come through to WA without the restrictions being put into force. This is an extraordinary situation. I appreciate it's very difficult out there at the border. I just ask for patience and understanding as we bring in these new rules to protect the community. I've already explained that non-essential travel across Australia and Western Australia needs to stop. Our new border restrictions have helped put a complete stop, a major stop or major restriction on any unnecessary travel interstate. I also want to expand that advice across Western Australia. That means that any unnecessary intrastate, internal travel in Western Australia needs to be avoided. We'll be putting in place restrictions on the movement between Western Australia's regions. We will be putting in place restrictions on the movement between our regions. It's important we minimise the spread of this virus. Clear guidelines around this will be released soon. Essential travel cannot be avoided. That is understandable. But we need to avoid everything else. I'm asking West Australians for their understanding during this very, very difficult time. This measure we're putting in place in the future will protect our regional citizens, especially the elderly and especially Aboriginal people. Can I also note it's getting hotter. People must socially distance. Everyone must adhere to the rules. It's pretty straightforward what the rules are. If we see people not doing the right thing at our beaches, like Cottesloe or Scarborough, we will need to act. That means we may be forced to close down these or other beaches. I don't want to be doing this, but if we have to protect people from themselves on our beaches, then we will. Lastly, can I thank Ben Wyatt for his courageous decision yesterday to stay in Parliament and remain as Treasurer. Obviously, Ben is needed in these circumstances. He has been one of Australia's outstanding Treasurers of the last 10 years, in fact the outstanding Treasurer of Australia for the last 10 years, and I very much appreciate his decision to stay on in Parliament during this crisis and the years through which we recover from this. Can also, in that note, thank Hannah Beasley, who was pre-selected for his electorate of Victoria Park, for her understanding, and I look forward to her having a parliamentary career in the future.